Hi there, I'm John of John's Carnivorous Plants, and this is my indoor nursery. Today we are going to talk about how I germinate seeds, which a good example would just be to show you what I use. I use little plastic cups, and this is actually my ping medium in there because this is what I use for cloning little pings. But usually I'll use peat perlite. I have about, you can see there, it's about 1/8 inch of medium in the cup. I will take it, sow my seeds right on top of the medium after I have wetted it with exactly 5 milliliters of water. Don't ask why. 4 is too little, 6 is too much, 5 for these size cups, which are 4 ounces. Cover it with that small amount of medium. If it's wet, it won't bounce around like it just did. Sow your seeds right on top of them. Close it up, set it under light, forget it. Most tropical species, they will germinate within a month to 6 months, depending on what you got. If it's a rainbow plant, so biblis or a dewy pine, Drosophilum, you could be in for many years of waiting. Barring them, pretty much everything else will germinate very quickly. Now, there is a group of plants that require stratification, which is in the next video I'm going to be doing. Keep an eye out for that. I'll walk through what's going on with all of that in that video. But just to suffice to say, if you're using this method right here, you can just immediately take the plants, well, the seeds that you've sown, toss them in your fridge for a few weeks, bang, stratification done. Don't even have to worry about it. It's already sealed, and just put it back on underneath your lights. I came up with this method of using these little cups as a way of basically trying to do very, very cheap tissue culture. And the reason why it works very well is because you're giving yourself a rather sealed and sterilized environment. So the only, fungal infections and stuff you really got to worry about are stuff that were already in the air whenever you closed it up, or were already growing on the medium. So if you're worried about all kinds of like powdery mildew or downing, damp off, then you can use sterilization. There we go. The word was escaping me. You could sterilize your medium. So like, you could take your peat moss and your perlite, mix it all together, put it on a baking sheet, bake it in the oven at like 400 for 15-20 minutes, take it out. Be pretty good to go. You can even use a pressure cook your medium. That also works. There's numerous different ways. You can take boiling water and just pour boiling water through your medium, and that will take care of a good portion of the stuff. You can also put your medium in the microwave. There's numerous different ways you can do it, but suffice to say, if you sterilize what you're working with beforehand and then put it into the little cup, you now have a sterile work environment, which is, you might not be all the way to the point of sterility that tissue culture is, but this is good enough to keep a very sterile culture. You'll notice that whenever you do that, you'll have very little algae growth. Give me a second. I gotta grab one of these little sundew cups over here. So here are some plants that I have cloning right now, and this is just like a case in point. The only discoloration is coming from the decay of the plant. Otherwise, that was clean water. So even this that's been sitting there for about 3 months, notice everything's still relatively composed, everything like that. A sterile environment makes plant tissue go a long, long way. Same thing for seeds. Seeds have a better germination rate when they're present, and this is a generalization, not a hard, fast rule, but they'll generally perform better whenever they're in a much more sterile environment where they don't have to compete with all kinds of pathogens or nasty, disgusting things that will try to eat them and kill them as they're in their most fragile state. And then not to mention the seed basically is carrying a bunch of food for the little baby plant. And it's also a very good food source for a bunch of other kind of pathogens like bacteria and the aforementioned molds and fungus. It's not a good situation for the poor little seedling. So that's why I use these little cups. I try to keep them sealed. That way the humidity level stays high. Like I said, exactly 5 milliliters because I use one of these pipettes. And that provides enough moisture, enough humidity inside there, because it'll eventually reach its critical point with the heat in my setup, and it's kind of hard to see, and even if I grab them, they'll probably end up dripping. But like almost all of the cloner cups I have sitting over there for the sundews, like you can see, like after a certain point, basically every one of them condense, and the humidity is fairly high within those little cups. It's usually like between 80 to 100%. And I know it's reaching 100% because some of them are condensing. So like you see the condensation forming and raining down. So that is an incredibly good environment. It's very easy to maintain. It's also a good buffer from the outside world. And I can easily stack these, like, 2 to 3 deep underneath the light. And the ones on the bottom, yeah, of course they're a little light starved, but it still works in that, because of the way that they're shaped. Whenever you're stacking them one on top of each other, let me get this one here to illustrate the point. Because it's got that, that little lip here at the top, and how it like cones upwards. That angle right there allows the light to get in, allows it to penetrate down to the lower level, allowing you to get more light into cultures that are underneath each other, which is very important, because then you can stack more and more onto each other and make your space more and more efficient, which I'm all about space efficiency, because I work in such a small space comparatively to other nurseries. But it's also good for, say, for example, you have kids or cats or, other little menace that might come through your nursery and mess things up. It's also really nice to have the self-containment there, so if it does get tilted over or something, you don't have to deal with medium or worrying about your seeds that you spent money on getting all over the place. Just flip it over, shake it a little bit, let them go. Now, if they're already growing, you might have to do a little more fidangling with them and get like some tweezers or something, set them a little more upright. But generally speaking, it's a lot safer than if you had like one of these pots. And then, not to mention, for most people, you guys go up to a store, like a grocery store or something like that, you'll find these cloner cups that I use. Well, I call them cloner cups, but like they're 4-ounce plastic cups, either for Jello shots or for all kinds of other needs, for dressing, ranch, whatever. I've seen multiple different like names and product codes for this, on how like they'll label it in the store. But generally speaking, it's just dressing cup or restaurant style cups, something like that. 4-ounce is the size I use. You can use the 8-ounce. There's actually, I think there's 2-ounce as well. Oh yeah, no, these are 2-ounce. These aren't 4-ounce. Yeah, the 4-ounces are down over there. That's why I'm getting mixed up. But yeah, these are the 2-ounce ones. You can generally find these near paper goods and paper supplies, or like plastic bags and stuff in grocery stores, or next to like the plastic cups, like the red Solo cups and whatnot. The thing is that you can buy those and they're plastic. They ain't ever gonna go bad. You can keep them for years. As a grower that, if you have a smaller collection of like, 5 or 6 plants, and you're just trying to germinate some seeds out here or there once or twice a year, it will literally last you a good, portion of your lifetime. If you just go buy one of the, which, I think it's like what? You can have like $5-10 for like 50 to 200 of them. It really varies a lot by where you go. If you see them too expensive, like if the cups are like more than $10 for 100 of them, just go online. They're literally like $12, you get 200. So, and that's on the expensive side. There's even places like, I have a place in town that I go and grab mine from. They're a paper supply company for restaurants and whatnot. They sell 200 of them with the lids for $6. So like you can find it pretty cheap. There's many different ways you can go about it. I lucked out that I have a restaurant supplier literally right down my road in that regard. But you might not be so lucky, and I hope that you're able to find somebody that can get you one of these little cups. They do work wonders. They literally propagate almost all of my plants. Whenever I do water props with sundews like you saw, do that. If I do germination, do that. If I need to stratify, put the whole thing right in the fridge, take it out 4 weeks later, good to go. It's really an all-in-one like solution for most of the species. There's just a very small minority that wouldn't do too well. So like you can even do Nepenthe seeds in there. Just chop up some long fiber sphagnum moss, keep it wet, put it on in there, close them up, bang, good to go. But that's the whole point, is that it's versatile and it's able to accommodate many different needs of all of the various carnivorous plants, which is why I wanted to make this video and share the technique that I've been doing for my seed germination process. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. This one ended up being a little bit longer of a rant than expected, but I hope it was informative for you. Please like, subscribe, comment, etc. Join the Discord, there's a link in the description if you want to come talk to me or ask questions about plants. Go to my website, which there's also a link in the description below, to come buy a plant directly from me and help support my business. Also, please, please, please leave comments, like, and subscribe. The engagement helps me a lot on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.